Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the deep diving movie review at Uncle Ren's Popcorn. I'm your host, Uncle Ren's. So today the movie is Independence Day Resurgence. This movie, the second coming of the movie from the Independence Day with Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, the movie that was a smash hit back in 1996, I believe, which took us to an idea of when the aliens come down and how the world united so that we can then defend our planet. Now, this movie is set in a 20-year aftermath of what had happened and how we had developed. We became one nation. Oh, and by the way, spoiler alerts. If you do not want to hear any spoilers, please just turn away for a little bit. Then you can come back after you see the movie. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie 7.5 kernels because it was a very good follow-up. Very good follow-up to the first movie. And I mean, it's to the extent where if the first movie never happened and this movie was the first time it came out and they just gave you a narration of how we got to that part, it's a good enough movie that it will stand alone by itself. Okay, it was standing alone by itself. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, so it's like a 20-year aftermath of what happened, how we became one world, and how basically a true UN is supposed to function, and how worldwide decisions are made by the president of the world with the UN Council, as advisors, and everybody had votes, was able to vote on different things to determine what type of actions would be taken, because, of course, the world is preparing for another invasion because you just know they're going to come back for revenge, right? But there's some twist in the movie that makes you realize that there's a third movie will be coming, and that one will be a total outer space kind of movie. But that one probably will be even better with more action. Now, this movie, did it have action? Yes, it had action from start to finish. Was it a little rushed in the action? Yeah, the plot line of the movie moved really quickly. You didn't really feel like you was in there for 2 hours. Like the movie runtime is 2 hours. It didn't feel like 2 hours. And that's because they moved through the plot line very quickly, the love story very quickly, the redemption story very quickly. All the storylines, all the plot holes were done very quickly. But it still was a good movie. It was still easy to follow. So it won't leave you waiting like, wait, when did that happen? When did that? It won't leave you that way. Now, there are a couple of times in the movie, especially one, where a beloved character, you got two beloved characters, but kind of like in the first movie when Rick Case died at the end of the movie, and you got the feels, right? When he went up there and he's saying goodbye to his son, his kids, and you got all the feels going on in that, the movie. There's, a scene in the movie here. They try to repeat that, but you don't get it there. But there's a different part of the movie. I'm not gonna give that away. I'm not gonna give it away. Where there's a main character, and you're gonna get the feels. The feels are gonna get all up in here. All right. So for that moment, you're gonna have the feels. So they did a good part on giving you at least one very emotional part, and now the comedy was on point. I forgot the actor's name who plays Jeff Goldblum's father. He keeps you involved in the movie, and he has very good his comedic character in this movie is just excellent, the way his character is portrayed. So it's a really good movie. Like I said, 7.5 kernels. If I could find a deep diving aspect of the movie, it would be a couple of things. The first deep diving aspect is that early in the movie, because out of fear of what had happened before with the aliens, early in the movie, the world responds in fear again, and actually kind of like without thinking, in haste, commits to actions that without really thoroughly investigating it. And that's one of the things that we got to understand as people individually. We have to be able to think through things first, that we can't allow ourselves to be controlled by fear. And being controlled by fear is one of the things that happen early in the movie that actually makes the fighting of the aliens more difficult, because reacting out of fear creates more problems than it solves. So if you can take that into your life, that you don't have to that before you react out of fear, before you respond out of fear, before you see somebody walking down the street and you get afraid, or you going into an area of town and you become afraid, or somebody is, it looks like you may lose something and you become afraid, and then you take action based on that fear alone without actually thinking about it, then that's a lesson you can take from the movie. The other lesson would be worldwide unity. This movie showed you how that common enemy can bring about worldwide unity. That a common goal of being able to defend the planet can bring about a common unity. If it was just that easy. Well, to think about it, they had to go through a lot. Worldwide devastation, planets, cities destroyed, millions of lives lost in order for the world to come together. And the question is, do we have to wait for millions of lives to be lost because of a common enemy before we can actually start coming together as one world? We don't all have the same nationality. We're not going to all have the same race. We're not going to have the same gender. We don't all have to speak the same language, nor do we have to have the same customs, and we certainly don't have to have the same religions in order for us to all come together. What it takes beyond a worldwide threat is a worldwide respect. And that is the end of the other idea of the movie. Two of the main characters had to come together because they developed a respect. Yeah, they had issues. Yeah, they had differences. Yeah, problems happened between them. But they had respect for each other towards the end. And that respect is what allowed them to come together so that they can do what was needed in order to do their part in fighting the enemy. So if we can come to a worldwide respect, then we can come to a worldwide unity. So hey, this is Uncle Ren's deep diving review of the movie Resergence with your host Uncle Ren's. Y'all have a great day, and your greatness is non-negotiable, and so is mine. And you can order from us at UncleRen'sPopcorn.com. That's Uncle Ren's, RENZ, popcorn.com, and enjoy our 25 flavors of gourmet popcorn. Have a great day.